In this world full of noise, we want to be able to have a formula that breaks through that and allows us to analyze and draw conclusions non-judgmentally, non-biasly through all this information. And that is the power of critical thinking. In this video, I will be sharing what critical thinking is, why it's important, and situations in which we can use it. I would actually argue critical thinking is being forgotten today. It is not taught in schools the way it was, and it's also more important to be used outside of school, even though there are instances and cases in which you are required to use it in school. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking, simply put, is the ability to use logic and reason to objectively judge an issue or situation without bias. One of the important things about critical thinking is to assess the information you're given and be able to change your mind based on the information. Why is critical thinking important? If it's someone that is controversial in the world today, such as this guy, or such as this guy, critical thinking might lead us to ask, who is it that put these beliefs and thoughts about this particular person in our mind? Am I certain and absolutely sure that these beliefs that I hold are true? What source was it that told me a piece of information about them? Was it myself? Do I directly know these people? And so having this cognitive flexibility to reassess your own thoughts about something is vital to critical thinking. And of course, today that is difficult with the algorithmic bubbles we get into, where they feed us the same kind of information that we have been looped in. And it's hard for us to take on different perspectives. But this perspectival taking and knowing of different people's thoughts and opinions is crucial to understanding something holistically. Next, another really important key of critical thinking is be able to draw conclusions and inference based on the information you're presented. So for example, if it's a research paper you're doing for school and your argument is that video games are actually very healthy and beneficial for you and do not make you more violent, depending on the video game, who is it exactly who's writing this article? Is the research sufficient? Are they credible sources? Is it from a university? Is it from a research study? What kind of research study is it? Is it a focus group? All of these things. Or is it someone's opinion based on their experience playing video games? And would that be a good source if it's just one person basing their experience? Absolutely not, because that can be biased. And so today in the news or social media, we can see that it's a lot of people's opinions. And when they have the leverage of being able to reach our screens, they might implement their opinion and other people take that on as their opinions and beliefs. But that's not always the truth, and we want to be getting at the truth. We want to be able to step back and assess the situation for what it is from all different kinds of angles. And only then will we be engaged in critical thinking. To be able to question everything is a powerful tool, especially in today's world. So, when is it appropriate to use critical thinking? Like I say, it's more important to use it outside of school in everyday situations, not only when we're doing an assignment or writing a research paper. Of course, in that case, it's also very beneficial, but outside of school in these everyday situations we find ourselves in, it's always best to approach things from a different perspective and take a step back before letting our bias, beliefs, and feelings sway the certain decision. So for example, if we're buying something and someone says this is the best phone, it's a new phone you need, and they tell you it's the best phone. Well, what makes it the best phone? Is it appropriate to your needs? They talk about how great the camera is. Is the camera something you will be using often? Or let's say there's a picture of a really delicious burger in a fast food restaurant. As we know from experience, is that picture actually the way it looks in real life? So maybe there's a healthier option, or maybe there's another restaurant across the street that might, cater to your needs more. These are just kind of miscellaneous off the top examples. Or maybe let's say you're at a mall and in a store they're selling 2-for-1 socks for sale, and you really like this t-shirt, but you only have enough money for one of the items. Perhaps if it's the winter time, maybe the socks could come in handy. You can wear them outside as well as inside to be all cozy when you're reading your books. Or if it's approaching the summertime and you really like this shirt, then maybe this shirt is the best thing to go with. But bringing the seasons into it and being able to assess which is the best purchase for yourself, instead of just letting the flashiness of the sale or the colors of the t-shirt sway your behavior to buy it. And of course, everyday conundrums, such as having a lot of things to do at once, or maybe a scheduling conflict, learning to prioritize what you're best at, or maybe it's skill development. Which skills do I want to learn faster than others? Which ones will be more beneficial to me in the long run? How many hours a day should I devote to this, and how many minutes should I devote to perhaps reading a book, maybe practicing an instrument for 20 minutes, reading a book for 30 minutes a day, and practicing doing chores first thing in the morning. That really is critical thinking as well, because it allows us to step back and start designing our lives. When we are so caught up in the everyday scheduling of things, we kind of forget that we are able to have say over our schedules and how we spend our time. And so these are just different examples of critical thinking in everyday life. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to critical thinking. Join me in the next video for part 2, where we will be diving into a conundrum by Astronova School. A conundrum is another word for dilemma or problem. And these are great because they offer many different solutions and perspectives to a certain issue. And I would love to hear your thoughts on how you would solve that. It applies a lot of critical thinking and being able to assess the situation holistically for what it is and what it's worth. And of course, creating a good argument, because there could be more than one correct answer. So join me in that one, and make sure to like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed the introduction to the importance of critical thinking.